If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
Well, this weekend was something, that was for damn sure. So yeah, of course we're back with the reviews this week after last week I took Las Vegas off to go film the Penny Series Championship doubleheader. Hopefully you all checked out the vlog I did. I put a lot of work and effort into that damn thing. But yeah, and honestly with how Vegas went last week, I honestly made the right call to take a bye week since that Vegas race was complete ass last week. But anyway, we now get to the fan favorite track, Talladega, a real racetrack. So yeah, we got the Talladega review. So we had the 3 series in action this week. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's talk about what happened at Talladega this week. So we had the truck race happen, and yeah, it was actually a pretty tame truck race until like late in the race when we had the big one there. And during the big one, we all saw Natalie Decker had an ARCA moment when she decided to go full throttle to the big one and then pile drove Parker Kligerman. Does Jennifer Jo Cobb know how to use a fucking brake pedal? Because what Jennifer did was pretty fucking stupid. Like Jennifer Jo Cobb looked fucking useless in that truck race. Like, when you are rivaling Natalie Decker for most incompetence in a truck, then you fucked up massively somewhere. But yeah, anyway, the truck race would end up going to overtime. And then during the truck race, and then during that overtime finish, we had a wreck off turn 4, but they were able to race back to the line. And during the race back to the line, you had Tate Fogelman almost go below the yellow line. We'll get to that in a second at the end. But Fogelman holds his ground, and then when John Hunter Nemechek tries to come down and force Fogelman below the line, Fogelman said, "Nope, I ain't going down. I'm standing my ground." And then Fogelman turns John Hunter Nemechek coming out of the trioval. And Tate Fogelman wins the truck race, edging out Tyler Hill. And then Fogelman wrecks the truck and spins it straight into the inside wall after they cross the start-finish line. Well, so this is the second time in 3 weeks that one of the races in a top 3 sanctioned series ended with the winner crashing after they crossed the line. But yeah, Tate Fogelman is officially a winner in the truck series. Damn. Jesus Christ, you could have fucking predicted that. Well, that's a bit of an upset win. So yeah, that's going to be a good race win diecast for P fans to get. Another destroyed car. So yeah, Xfinity had the race winner wreck at Bristol. The Truck Series winner at Talladega wrecked. The Cup Series is next. Watch it be next week at the Charlotte Roval. Then the cycle is complete. But yeah, and also in the truck race, drivers like Chandler Smith, Carson Hocevar, and Shane Smith all took more massive hits in the points. So yeah, and also with Fogelman winning, it means that in 3 weeks for the Truck Series elimination race at Talladega, at Martinsville, all 4 spots in the final 4 are still up for grabs, so nobody is locked in, so nobody's safe. And I know everyone was talking about how Tate Fogelman should have been penalized because he went below the O-line. Let me say 2 things about that. 1, Tate Fogelman only had 2 wheels below the line. And 2, Tate Fogelman never advances position below the O-line. So honestly, and he was kind of forced down there, so it was pretty much fair game. But honestly, like I've said the last 2-3 years, there's an easy way to solve this yellow line controversy. I've said it for years. You know what the solution is? Get rid of the yellow line rule. Get rid of it. It's very simple. Get rid of the rule. Because the yellow line rule, all it's done since its inception in 2001 after Dale Sr.'s death, because all that yellow line rule has done is just cause nothing but controversy and confusion. And this rule has always split the fan base in half, because every time we have a yellow line situation, this fan base can never mutually agree on if NASCAR made the right call or not. We can never mutually agree on it. And plus, NASCAR's never been consistent when enforcing this rule. They usually enforce it very poorly. Then again, NASCAR's never been consistent with fucking anything in their life, so yeah. But yeah, there's an easy solution to solve the yellow line controversy. Get rid of the rule, very simple. Plus, the main purpose of the rule was to eliminate dangerous crashes. And ever since this rule has been implemented, the number of dangerous crashes in NASCAR have gone up by over 130%. So this rule has honestly put more danger on driver safety than helping it. So let me get this straight. So for the yellow line rule, it's nothing but a failure. If it was supposed to make the drivers safer, it failed. If it was supposed to stop dangerous crashes from happening, it failed. If it was to eliminate controversy, it failed. If it was supposed to unite the fan base as a whole, it failed. If it was supposed to make NASCAR look consistent with their decision making, it failed. And if it was supposed to eliminate confusion, guess what? You guessed it right, it failed. And what do you call something that failed to accomplish any of the goals it set out for? You call it a failure. The yellow line rule is nothing but a failure. Simple as that. And I'm calling it how I see it. So yeah, the easy solution, I've said it the last couple years and I'm going to continue to say it until NASCAR grows a fucking pair and actually does it. And that's get rid of the rule. But let's be real, NASCAR's not going to get rid of it because NASCAR doesn't fucking change anything until somebody dies in a crash. Because that's the NASCAR way. So yeah, anyway, let's now move on to the Xfinity race. So, Xfinity race, well, it was actually pretty okay too. Like, there weren't many big crashes. We had a couple big crashes. Like, the crashes that we had that were big, it took out guys like, Terrible Herbst was in a wreck. Clements also had some issues too. Snyder was in a wreck too. Gregson took a massive hard hit. Like, it was great to see Gregson get out of the car. And then Gregson still cracking jokes coming out of Keir Center. And then getting the beads on for the Talladega so we can go to the Talladega interview probably to go see some butthole. Because you know what? We all know it's Dega week, and we all know what was popular a couple years ago when that one Talladega video came out.
Show me your butthole!
Show your butthole!
Butthole! Reveal your rectum! Let us see that butthole!
Yeah, what happens at Dega goes on social media. But yeah, Gregson, never change, man. Never change. But yeah, anyway, then we get to more controversy in the Talladega Xfinity race. And this controversy, oddly enough, this one did not involve the yellow line rule. Holy shit, a Talladega controversy that doesn't involve the yellow line rule? Even that stupid dumb rule? We have one that doesn't involve it? Oh my god, what a shocking turn of events. No, this controversy had to do with Talladega not having lights, because with around 7 or 6 to go, NASCAR ran out of daylight at Talladega and they had to call the race with 6 to go by declaring the yellow and checkered flag. And with NASCAR calling the race, it means that Brandon Brown gets his first career win. So Brandon Brown is now a winner in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. But yeah, honestly, there were two solutions to this problem. Well, one solution is maybe don't have Xfinity and trucks run at the same track on the same day and not do a doubleheader. Maybe make trucks run on Friday, Xfinity run on Saturday, and also don't start the race at fucking 4 o'clock on a track with no lights, and especially at a track that has a history of having big pileup crashes and long red flag breaks, and usually goes over its allotted TV time 9 times out of 10. Because also this Xfinity race had 2 red flag breaks, one after stage 1 because of Allmendinger's crash, and then the second one was after Gregson's crash, since Gregson's crash led to a lot of liquid and fluid being leaked all over the damn track. But honestly, there's another solution to this problem. It's a very simple solution. Add lights to Talladega. Have a Talladega night race. Maybe not a Talladega night race, but have lights on so we don't have daylight issues. Like, Dega honestly should have lights. Dega honestly should have a night race. A Dega night race would sell the bitch out easily. Like, Dega night race would be fucking cool to have, and it could be a crown jewel. A Dega night race would be fucking sick. But I believe the one issue I hear about it is cost and all that, and how it would cost too much money because you have to do parking and a couple roads there. I say bullshit. Bullshit. Stop complaining about costs. Like, for fuck's sakes, you spent a couple years ago, you spent almost $20 million renovating the infield in Talladega. If you can throw that much money on the infield, then you can throw that much money to have lights installed at Talladega. No more goddamn excuses. Either that or start the races fucking earlier. Simple as that. Like, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, these are easy solutions to the problem, people. So yeah, what did we learn from the Xfinity truck race? We learned that A, the yellow line rule needs to go because it causes too much controversy and confusion. So yeah, two things we learned from Xfinity trucks. The yellow line rule still needs to go. And Talladega needs lights. That's simple. And also, let's also get to what happened during Brandon Brown's interview when the crowd started chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden." And then Kelly Stavich was trying to twist it by saying that they were chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." I'll give her kudos for trying to weather that storm, but she ain't fooling anybody. We all know exactly what the crowd was chanting, and it sure as hell wasn't, "Let's go, Brandon." They were chanting, "Fuck Joe Biden," because a lot of the college stadiums were doing it Saturday, and NASCAR fans are like, shit, college fans are doing it? We've got to up our game too. So yeah, and I know a lot of people have been complaining about it and saying, "Oh, fans are making it political again. Get politics out of my NASCAR." Man, shut the fuck up. Y'all crying about politics being in motorsports, but little do you all know that there have been politics always in motorsports. Especially in Formula 1. Formula 1 is always full of fucking politics. Especially at Mercedes, with Mercedes fucking boner favoritism for Lewis Hamilton and screwing Bottas over. You cannot convince people there aren't politics in F1. We already know there's politics in F1, especially with team orders, too. Like, let's be real. There have always been politics in NASCAR since, well, the beginning. Especially during the 70s and 80s when a majority of the teams would cheat outright to try and gain an advantage over the competition, like Junior Johnson and Smokey Yunick being the two most notorious cheating owners in NASCAR. And let's be real, cheating indeed is a form of politics. And by the way, if all those conspiracy theories going around about NASCAR being rigged are true, then guess what? Rigging is another form of politics in NASCAR. So everyone complaining about politics in NASCAR and in motorsports, little do you all know, politics have been in motorsports this entire time. The only difference is the politics that happen behind the scenes, they aren't talked about as much as the ones you see in the media when the media shoves their political agenda down everybody's throat. In fact, that reason alone is the reason why I don't fucking watch the news. Because that's all the news is just the media taking their political agenda and shoving it down everybody's throat. And I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm not watching that garbage. Like, the only news I'll ever watch is Sports Center, NASCAR Race Hub, and the Weather Channel. That's it. That is it. So yeah, and honestly, anybody complaining about the fuck Joe Biden chants, you all wouldn't be saying a goddamn thing if it were fuck Trump chants. And at the same time, all the people that were chanting fuck Joe Biden, they would be complaining about the fuck Trump chants. Because honestly, the truth is, we are all fucking hypocrites. Every last one of us. Anybody that says they're not a hypocrite is a liar and is lying to themselves. Because nobody is perfect. The only perfect person in this world died on a cross for our sins. And let's be real, most of the people chanting fuck Joe Biden, they were the exact same people that last year were complaining about politics and racing over the Bubba Wallace incident at Talladega with the noose that ended up being a garage door handle, and then the media fucking spinning it. And let's be real. Bubba had nothing to do with that incident last year. Bubba Wallace had nothing to do with that. It was mainly off of NASCAR's incompetence of overreacting too soon instead of letting the FBI do the investigation and wait until the investigation was complete. Bubba Wallace is honestly just thrown under the bus and ended up being an innocent victim in NASCAR's incompetence. Simple as that. And the whole thing about Bubba crying in the media and all that and being a little SJW, what if I told you Bubba was probably told by the media to do it so the media can shove their political agenda down everybody's throat? Because keep in mind, last year was an election year. So yeah, just saying. And yeah, and by the way, everything I just said about the whole fuck Trump and fuck Biden chants, this is coming from somebody that hates Trump and Biden. Honestly, if you put a gun to my head and told me to vote for one of those two in the election last year, I wouldn't vote either of those two clowns. I would have voted for Joe Jordan last year in the election. Mainly because, one, Trump and Biden both fucking suck and neither of them should be president. And that's just my stance on that. And honestly, the left and the right, they're both honestly hypocrites and both equally bad, because the left always talks about how bad the right is, or the right talks about how bad the left is. Then talk about how liberals and conservatives, or how liberals say conservatives are bad, or conservatives say how liberals are bad, or how Democrats say Republicans are bad, or how Democrats say Republicans are bad. All I see is a bunch of brainwashed fucking morons that keep falling for the government and the media's divide and conquer agenda. Like, I don't fucking understand why we all can't just get along, because there are good liberals and there are good conservatives. I've seen both sides get along pretty well equally. But then you got a bunch of fucking morons that keep getting brainwashed by the media's bullshit. Simple as that. And you can dislike the video for my opinion there all you want. It's not going to stop me from being honest. And you know I'm always going to call it how I see it. And that's how I see it. And honestly, this is why I don't like to talk about politics in my videos. Because honestly, politics usually bring the worst out of you 9 times out of 10. And if it brings the best out of you, then you're doing something right in your life, and more power to you. But yeah, that's why I don't talk about politics. It's just a messy situation, and it honestly just does more damage than good. Like, honestly, you talk about left or right being bad, honestly, they're both equally bad, and both sides are equally pieces of shit. And both sides need to take a look in the mirror and learn how to get the fuck along and put their differences aside. And this is now a good leadway into the Cup race at Talladega. Because the Cup race at Dega, well, ended up being postponed because of rain. Mainly because they wouldn't have enough time to dry the track because of no lights at the track and the lack of sunlight. You know, if you installed lights at Talladega, then daylight wouldn't be a fucking issue. Like, seriously, stop making fucking excuses to not have lights installed at Dega. I don't give a fuck how much it would cost. If you can throw $20 million to renovate the infield, then you could probably throw $20 million to install lights. No fucking excuses. For fuck's sakes, you threw a lot of money to put lights in at Daytona. Stop making fucking excuses for NASCAR's incompetence. Fuck. So anyway, the race gets postponed till Monday. We get to Monday. Well, Monday ended up being Monday racing, this race is actually pretty good for the amount of laps we did run in this race. Like, you had a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing, you had the single file freight train, you even had the brief tandem drafting. I mean, to be perfectly honest, this aero drafting package, because I didn't talk about the package too much in the Daytona race back in August, this package kind of reminds me of the 2012 Super Speedway package we had. Because in the 2012 package, you had mix of tandem drafting, you had single file freight train, you had 2 and 3 wide pack racing. And that's what we honestly have here. I mean, if the Gen 7 can come close to this package here, I think it would be perfect super speedway package. You pretty much get the best of all worlds with it. You pretty much get a mix of everything. You also get a mix of comers and goers too. And of course, Kyle Larson also proven why he's really the most talented driver in the field once again. When Kyle Larson was able to wheel a car with a fucked up tow arm and steering column, and was able to wheel it to make minimum speed while a tire was going down. Like, Larson, what does Larson have to prove? What left does Larson have to prove that he's an absolute fucking wheelman? Too bad Larson took a massive hit in the points, but with 2 wrecks out and a couple chasers getting damaged and shit, and, just the timing and everything with what happened in this race, Larson was able to make up whatever he lost back. Yeah, then we get to the finish. Where for the finish, the race would stop with around 3 to go in stage 2 because of rain, and then more heavy rain came in, and then NASCAR confirmed that they weren't going to have enough time to dry the track with all the rain. So with all that being said, who won the race? Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is officially a winner in the NASCAR Cup Series. And I just pissed off a lot of boomers just saying that. I pissed off a lot of the racist boomers saying that. Oh boy. And this was on a day where Facebook was down for a majority of the day. So a lot of the fucking boomers couldn't fucking bitch and complain about it. Man, what a time to be alive. So yeah. Bubba Wallace makes history this weekend because Bubba Wallace becomes the second African-American driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. He also becomes the first African-American driver to win a Cup Series race since Wendell Scott won at Jacksonville in 1963. And we all know about that 1963 race where initially Wendell Scott was screwed out of it for some white driver because it was down south in the 60s when racism was at its peak and NASCAR wanted to protect Wendell Scott. Because the whole tradition for the race winner in the 60s in the Cup Series was that usually the race winner got to get a kiss from the white trophy girl. And yeah, it would cause a massive outrage to have back in the 60s to have a black driver kissed by a white trophy girl. Honestly, I would have no problem with it. But at the end of the day, it was really a shitty thing for NASCAR to do to Wendell Scott. But I kind of understand, their hands were tied and they just wanted to protect Wendell Scott's health and well-being and safety. And then they declared Wendell Scott the winner a few days later, and they finally gave Wendell Scott's family the trophy for that race many years later. So yeah. So at least that shitstorm of a mess is finally solved. And also, on this weekend, this is the first time in NASCAR history that we had 3 first-time winners in all 3 top sanctioned series at the same track in the same weekend. And Bubba Wallace also gets the first ever win for 2311 Racing. So this ends up being the first ever win for Michael Jordan as an owner. And it's also the first ever win for Denny Hamlin as an owner. Man, I honestly felt like Bubba Wallace was going to win a race eventually, but I didn't think it would be this soon because I thought the team was going to have a lot of issues. And especially with how I feel like the super speedways would probably be the best bet for it to happen, especially with how unpredictable Daytona and Talladega is, since both Daytona and Talladega are honestly crapshoot races, and they're unpredictable as all hell. But I wasn't expecting this after 1 year. I was maybe expecting them to maybe get a win in like 3 to 5 years once they build and establish themselves and get the pieces in place. But to see them get a win already after 1 year? And you know what? Say what you want about it being a rain-shorn win. Bubba Wallace earned it fair and square. Because Bubba was able to get up front when it mattered the most, and he was able to hold off everybody, given the conditions and knowing that rain was coming, and Bubba doing everything he can given the current situation and the circumstances. And he earned it fair and square. So Bubba earned this win. And also with this, Bubba also gets credited as the Stage 2 winner too, since the race didn't finish 2 stages, but it went past halfway. It meant that Bubba Wallace gets the 2-for-1. So the top 10 in Stage 2 also are the top 10 finishers in the race. So Bubba has a great 2-for-1 right there. What a great day for Bubba Wallace in 2311. And honestly, this is a pretty big win for the NASCAR community to have, a minority driver win a race. You also have that too with Kyle Larson, since Larson's half Asian and he's Native American. So, to have both those drivers win this year, and there's going to be a lot of national headlines in the media, of course, from this. I'm not really going to watch the news because I'm not interested in the media shoving their political agenda down everybody's throat, like I mentioned earlier. But, at least with Bubba Wallace's win, as long as NASCAR doesn't fuck anything else up, NASCAR will finally be in the headlines for the right reasons this time. So, hey, congrats to Bubba Wallace. He earned the win fair and square. So, you know what, Bubba? I'm going to give a toast to you. Congratulations. And also, Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace shook hands in the garage after the race, so honestly, the fucking media can stop fucking portraying Larson and Bubba Wallace fans against each other. When in reality, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson have always been friends for almost a decade. The only reason the media put tension on them is just to cause drama between the fan bases, just for the divide and conquer agenda. Very simple. Hell, I've seen Larson and Bubba Wallace fans get along fine. I've gone along with a majority of Bubba Wallace fans. The only reason they would try in the media, there would be tension between both fan bases because the media fucking spins it that way. Honestly, people just need to wake the fuck up and see through the media's bullshit and say, no, stop pushing this. We don't want this. Cut it out. But yeah. I think I've ranted on long enough, but hey, congrats to Bubba Wallace on his first career win. And also with Bubba Wallace winning, it means that nobody enters the Charlotte Roval safe, except for Denny Hamlin, who won Las Vegas last week. So yeah, next week there's still 7 spots up for grabs at the Charlotte Roval next week. Same deal in Xfinity, because I also forgot to mention that for Xfinity, Austin Cindric was able to gain enough points, so Cindric moves on to the round of 8 in Xfinity. But yeah, anyway, with all this said, it's time to, and also we got F1 back next week at Turkey. Says the battle between Hamilton and Verstappen for the championship continues. But yeah, anyway, we also got 2 elimination races next week at the Charlotte Roval for Xfinity and Cup. So let's take a look at the chase grid points entering those 2 elimination races. So first off, we're going to take a look at the Truck Series chase grid entering their cutoff race in 3 weeks at Martinsville. So all 4 spots in the final 4 for trucks are still up for grabs. Nemechek and Rhodes, 36 to 35 to the good. I think they're safe. I think those 2 are pretty much in the final 4. Those 2 have been the best drivers all year in trucks, so I think those 2 are going to be competing for the title. But the last 2 spots is anybody's game. Crafton's 10 points to the good. Crafton just needs to stay out of trouble and do the bare minimum to not fuck up, and he moves on. Creed just needs to stay close to Friesen or finish ahead of him and just have a solid run and stay out of trouble. Friesen just needs to have a solid run as well, or needs to win, and needs Creed to finish a few spots behind him. And then Chandler Smith, Carson Hocevar, and Shane Smith, there's no way they're making up that many points in one race. The only way they have a chance at Phoenix is if they win at Martinsville. For those 3, they're simply in a must-win scenario. For Chandler Smith, hey, he won Bristol when he was in a must-win scenario. Can lightning strike twice for him, or has his luck run out? We'll have to see in 3 weeks, but that's the grid entering the truck elimination race at Martinsville in 3 weeks. Now for the Xfinity chase grid, it's pretty straightforward entering the Charlotte Roval. 7 spots still up for grabs, let's be real. Allgaier and Hemrick are safe. I believe Allgaier pretty much is locked in once they take the green flag. Same deal with Hemrick. Hemrick just needs to gain a few stage points and he's pretty much good. AJ Allmendinger, 33 to the good. And by the way, AJ Allmendinger's won the Charlotte Roval race the last 2 years. There's no way Allmendinger's being eliminated after at Charlotte. He's definitely safe. Because more likely, Allmendinger's probably going to contend for the win with Cindric and Ty Gibbs. So, there's no way Allmendinger's being eliminated at Charlotte. Justin Haley, Brandon Jones, and Noah Gragson, those three are pretty much safe on points. They just gotta stay out of trouble and do the bare minimum to not fuck up too bad, and they're good to go. But that 8th and final spot is when it gets interesting. The Battle of the Burns. Harrison Burton, 8 points to the good. Harrison Burton just needs to stay ahead of his cousin Jeb, or just needs to have a solid run, and he's pretty much set to go to the next round. Jeb Burton needs to have a solid run. Needs Harrison Burton to struggle at the Roval to move on. And then you got Mike Snyder, 24 back. I think Snyder, he still can make it in on points, but he's going to need a lot of help. He pretty much needs to run well. It needs Harrison Burton and Jeb Burton to both struggle. Or Snyder just needs to win the race, and that just solves that problem. And then Terrible Herbst and Jeremy Clements. They're both in must-win scenarios. Do we have to pretend at least both of them are going to move on? Because both have been pretty ass this year. But then again, Clements did get his one and only win on a road course. So I wouldn't sleep on him too much. But yeah, they're both in must-win scenarios. I don't see them winning the race next week. But you never know what could happen. So yeah, that's the Xfinity Chase Grid entering the Charlotte Roval. Now the Cup Series Chase Grid gets very interesting. Like really, out of all these drivers, nobody is really safe entering the Roval. Like Larson, Logano, Keselowski, Truex, and Blaney, they're all pretty good on points. They just gotta run well and not do the bare minimum to not fuck up too bad. But the 7th and 8th spot is when it gets interesting, because you got Chase Elliott 9 points to the good. I think I would put Chase Elliott pretty much in a safe spot, considering how good Chase Elliott is on the road course and the fact that he's won the Roval race the last 2 years. So, I think Chase is going to be contending for the win, of course, at the Roval. So, I think Chase is pretty good right now. So, I think Chase could be safe there, but you never know what could happen. And then you got Kyle Busch, 9 points to the good, and Harvick, 9 points out. Kyle Busch, he just needs to stay out of trouble at the Charlotte Roval. And I know Kyle Busch's history at the Roval, that he's had 3 bad finishes there. He's never finished well at the Roval the last 3 years. I wouldn't sleep on that history too much, because Kyle Busch has been really solid on the road courses this year. I think Kyle Busch is going to surprise some people at the Roval. For sure. Harvick, though, Harvick just needs to have a solid run and hope that Kyle Busch's deja vu bad luck happens again. Or Harvick just needs to have another pissy match with Chase Elliott, then needs to move on. And then you got Christopher Bell, 28 points behind. I think Bell could possibly still make it in. He's almost in a must-win scenario. But for Bell to make it in on points, he needs a lot of help. He pretty much needs a combination of Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott, or somebody else. At least 2 of those 3 to struggle if he wants to have a legit shot at moving on, or he needs to win. And then William Byron and Alex Bowman, there's no way they're making up that many points. They're both in must-win scenarios. I mean, Byron has run well at the Charlotte Roval the last couple years. He even tied Chase Elliott with leading the most laps of this race last year and ran well. And Alex Bowman has a good history of running well at road courses. Bowman's honestly, though, he's actually more hit or miss. So there's a good chance they could move in on a win, but they're both in a must-win scenario. All I say to Bowman and Byron, out of those 2 HMS cars, who wants to win a title more? That's going to be the question here. Out of those 2, who wants it more? So yeah, really, the Chase race at Charlotte next week, nobody really enters safe. So this is going to be an interesting race next week. But yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here. That's all I got to say. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you on whatever I make next. Peace out.